Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, hello, how are you doing this evening? I am RJ, of course, and I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I ask that everybody keep an open mind tonight, as we will be doing things a little bit differently than I normally do. Tonight is going to be an open panel. Part of the reason it's going to be open panel is that this isn't about missing persons tonight, but instead, this is about our loved ones that have already passed. I don't hide that sometimes spirits like to talk through me or talk to me and try to pass on messages. Tonight is one of those nights. But we're going to do things a little bit different in the respect that I haven't done this since Thanksgiving time. What I'm doing tonight, I haven't done since Thanksgiving time. Lorraine, how are you tonight? Thank you for coming out. Double Rainbows, great to see you as well. I know Carrie's a little bit under weather, and cosplay is, I believe, still busy with her daughter and softball tonight. And if you are listening to cosplay's little girl, I'm not going to mention your name, but we all say a big, huge congratulations for winning tonight. Going to states in Tennessee, even for your age group, is a big deal. So congratulations. You deserve huge amounts of celebrating tonight. So I don't hide that I embrace or I accept that sometimes being able to communicate with spirits can be a useful tool in investigating missing kids, missing persons, death. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for a person that has died. So when I say this, I understand that some people are not comfortable with this topic. I am still going to be talking about true crimes in the future. Tonight, however, is a little bit different. We are going to be returning to talking about Summer Wells. There has been some recent developments, and I'm just going to give a quick rundown of some things. If you watched Chris McDonough and the interview room last night, it's been a lot of stirring going on. But from every creator that I had opportunity to pay attention to, they're missing the point of last night. Chris McDonough called out Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, called out the TBI, called out the FBI, and said, it's time to come out and say you have 4 persons of interest. I've been saying that for at least the past 6 months. There's 4 persons that are going to land up with charges related to Summer Wells. Just last week, when I was talking about Dylan Rounds, Carrie, thank you for making it out. I know you're under the weather. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate you coming out. Dylan Rounds, I said just last week or the week before, forget when I did a story on it right off the top of my head. Then I kept picking up when I focused on his story and what happened with him. I kept picking up one thing, and he was so proud of that one thing. It's pumpkin seeds. The fact that he started growing and realized he wanted to be a farmer when he started having his own pumpkin patch. There's no possible way I would know this kind of information, guys. I don't have those kind of levels of connections that I would be able to sit there and tell you, oh yeah, this person did this or this person did that. And I don't have those connections, and I don't pretend to. Tonight, I believe they're the spirits that I believe there's a message for somebody or two, possibly even three people tonight. That they need to hear. Hello, Cherokee girl. Thank you very much. I believe there's three things that people need to hear. The possibly three different people need to hear some information tonight. And I'm going to be honest. Some people are going to want tissues. Because it's going to bring them to tears. I promise tonight's going to be open panel because it's going to be if you realize that this is for you, or if you want to jump up and ask me a question, you're welcome to join me on StreamYard tonight. This is wide open panel tonight. Hello, Honeybee. How are you tonight? I'm going to pin the StreamYard link right at the top. We're going to take our time and we're just going to talk for a little bit of time. Like I said, everybody, please just keep an open mind. If this is for you, I respect that. We are still going to talk about missing person cases in the future. We're not getting away from that. We're not getting away from talking about Dylan Rounds because there's a lot of information that happened recently in that. With him, there's movement in Summer Wells. Finally. Thank you, Carrie, very much. Please remember to hit that like button, subscribe button, and that notification bell. If you hear something tonight. Double Rainbow, thank you for joining me tonight. How are you?
I'm terrific. It's another beautiful day to be alive. Happy Monday to everyone.
Absolutely. So tonight's a little bit unplanned. And that's why I'm deeming this as being like more of an open panel tonight. And I'll explain to that as we go on. But how can I help you tonight?
Did you say that some family members from the other side might be wanting to give one of us a message?
Yes, I did. Yes,
That's
I did.
why I'm up here.
Oh, see, now, unfortunately, okay, so this is really specific to a couple of individuals. And like I said, I believe there's a third person that was kind of shy coming through to me. This was coming through to me last night as I was sleeping. Hello, New Orleans lady and Kay Southern Charm. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. So somebody in my audience is about to get married. They're engaged. And they were recently going through what I would call like a hope chest. Just a little a chest of things that the person would store away, preparing to get married, for moving in with their soon to be spouse. They were very emotional about this when they were going through this hope chest. And traditionally, this is a female type of thing where it gets passed on, or a mother prepares for a daughter, or a grandmother, a mother figure of some sort prepares this for a bride to be. And the hope chest they were going through that was very emotional to them. There was a female figure standing in the doorway, trying to comfort them. They could feel the presence of this female figure. And when I say this, I mean it's either a mom that has passed away, or even a grandmother that has recently passed away. They were trying to comfort the soon-to-be bride, and they were saying, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Meaning the person is about to take the correct steps, they're on the right path in their life. Cherokee Girl, is any of them about to get married, or are they too young for that yet? I'm just waiting for Cherokee Girl. Give Cherokee Girl a moment to respond, because she's saying my daughters and I were going through her daughter's memory box. Okay. This is more of when I see this is more for this is clearly somebody that's about to be getting married. Oh wow, really? Did you recently lose a mom or a grandmother figure in your life? See, that really caught my attention there when you said that they were playing with your wedding dress. My daughter is actually my other daughter's mom. We adopted our grandchildren. This is exactly what I'm seeing. This is it. Guys, this is it right here. Cherokee Girl is the person that this is for. If you don't have to answer, Cherokee Girl, but you are you don't have to answer in details. And if I'm asking you a question you don't want to answer at all, don't feel that you have to. Did their mom recently pass? See, when Cherokee Girl said that about they're playing with the wedding dress, and just mentioning it just now, I get chills all over my body. Like, this is 100% it, guys. This is 100% what I was talking about. Cherokee Girl, just a simple yes or no. Like a mom to you. Cherokee Girl, she's there with you. She is there 100% with you, and she wants to know she is well pleased. She is very happy, and she's telling me that you're going in the right direction. And where I was starting out with this is the same way that Chris McDonough last night was a affirmation, a positive response to something I had been saying for months. With there being going to be 4 people arrested, Cherokee Girl already knew this, but she needed to hear this tonight. I'm confident that Cherokee Girl has already known that this woman is with her and is very happy with her, but she's like staying in the background enough where she's not up in her face, so to speak. She's like standing in the doorway, watching and keeping an eye on what's going on, type of deal. And March 4th. Last year. That's amazing. Cherokee Girl, I want to thank you for allowing me to be able to bring you this message. I know I'm not going into a lot of details about this, but I don't have a lot of details. It was literally just that she wants you to know that she is very pleased and that she is there with you. The other day when you were going through the memory boxes, you were calling it. She was definitely with you. She was trying to comfort you. You could 100% feel her, but you couldn't hear her. And she makes her presence known. What I would encourage you to do, Cherokee Girl, and I do this with anybody that, especially with somebody that was close and they were a loved one, is even if you can't hear them, when you feel that they are there, don't be afraid to acknowledge them. Talk to them. It's going to feel like the weirdest thing in the world at first. And I tell you, with time, you will understand. Because you could be in the middle of a room with nobody else and somebody else be in the other room, and you're just going to be like, I'm talking to myself. Talk to them. They're listening. She's listening to you. There was another person, and I'll be honest, these both came to me in dream form last night. I'm a person that does not usually remember my dreams, but when I remember dreams, it's usually something important. That's Cherokee girl. That's exactly what I'm saying. She's standing in the doorway. She's not there to like scare you or freak you out that she's there, but she's there with you. And I totally had her perspective of things that were going on. But with what you're saying, like I said, it was a bride to be, and your girls were playing with a wedding dress, your wedding dress. It makes total sense that this would belong for you. There was another part of the dream, and Cherokee girl, I don't think this was you. I think that this was somebody else. And this was a person that was recently going through a photo album. That sounds like her background. Exactly. I'm not afraid to. Good. That is exactly what I want you to encourage you to do tonight. Is do not be afraid to acknowledge them. Yeah, emotions can if you're overwhelmed with emotions, it can actually interfere, and that is very true. Only one or two people in here have actually seen me use a spirit box before. One person in particular in person, and I get very, very still and very calm when I do so, and it just allows the spirits to have all the energy they want, and I'm not being emotionally charged myself because I need to keep in control and be focused and so on. And so absolutely, when you are emotional, and it's not a bad thing to be emotional, it's natural to tune them out. J Mac, how are you doing tonight? That's very common reaction to have, Cherokee. It's not a bad thing. It's just a lot of times when you are emotional, they want to comfort you. Just like if somebody wants to wipe away your tears, if you're crying, same thing. They want to comfort you, especially if it's your ancestors, somebody really close. Yes. Carrie was the person that, on a couple occasions, have witnessed using a spirit box, and how I get when I'm doing so is very unique. I'll put it that way. It's definitely not what you see on these ghost hunting shows and things like that. I'm the polar opposite of what they do. I'll be the first person to tell you I am the polar opposite of what you hear on the TV shows. So there was another message that I believe I had tonight. Somebody was recently looking through a photo album. And this wasn't just this was the photo album had photos of their parents.
That would be me.
And you were very emotionally charged. You got very emotional because you saw a photo of them, a wedding photo.
Not particularly that picture, but I do cherish that picture.
Okay. So it's the same. I don't want to be generic or anything, but it's the same thing. Both your parents are there. Both your parents are surrounding you and wanting to comfort you. They're proud of the direction you're headed in. You're headed in the right direction. They want you to know that first and foremost.
Um, my parents are still alive. I think you're talking about my grandparents, and they were my parents. Long story short.
I have a similar story where I was raised by my grandmother in my teen years, so I understand. Um, by preteen and my teen years, I was raised by my grandmother. Um, so I completely understand that can how that can happen. But okay, so this is when I say whenever I say like a mother figure or parents in general, it doesn't have to be ever be the direct generation. It can skip a generation, or like with Cherokee Girl, it was somebody that was a mother figure. It's the energy of a mom that's coming through, or in your case, and the energy of parents that are coming through. Your parents are coming through together. They're coming through together. They were thick as thieves, neck and neck. Okay, they were always together.
They were.
And they're it's the same way now. They're still together, and they are excited for you in the direction that you're headed.
Gosh, I really needed to hear that. I
It's
really did.
going for you though, it's going to take time for all the details to unfold. You have to remain patient. It's
Um,
going to it's everything's going to be good for you though.
I just needed to know that they noticed that I'm changing my life for the better, and
They
that
do.
they love me, and that's good enough for me. And I
Yep.
miss them very, very much.
Absolutely. Like I said, you need to be patient. You're on the right track. There's going to be some bumps coming up. You need to stay on the path that you know is right. You understand that you know where you're going. Be patient and stick to it because you're on the right track.
Thank you. I very humbly thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Like I said, guys, tonight is going to be definitely be different. I don't know how long we're going to go tonight. I very unplanned tonight, and I thank you for having an open mind about things. But Rainbows, I don't have a lot of detail with yours. I just saw somebody looking through a photo album, my mind focused on an old wedding photo, and I would say probably it's the um, goodness gracious. I remember from like when my great grandparents when I saw like back in the 80s and 90s, where it looked like it was the perforated edges, but they had the huge perforations around the edges of it, and a black and white photo, and it just um, I want to say that it was, oh goodness, to
Oh,
me to me it
oh,
represented a photo that was from like the 40s, 50s, maybe even like the 60s at the absolute latest, but it was like that long ago type of photo.
you are on the dot. I thought you meant my parents that got married, but no, the picture that I was looking at were all my black and white photos of my grandparents, and they kind of raised me the most. And I was I I did come across a photo of them, their wedding, Oh my goodness.
I'm going to say, is your great grandparents or your grandparents?
Grandparents.
Grandparents. Your grandfather wore a very, what we would say today is a very simple suit. It wasn't like a tuxedo or anything, but your grandmother had a beautiful wedding gown.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, your grandfather was just a suit and tie type of person. He wasn't. He actually didn't like being all dressed up. That for him, that was dressing to the nines. That was him being dressed up to the most he would do. It's a regular suit and a tie.
He was a very humble man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go drop down at someone else's turn. Wait, how do I thank you for that? Because I really needed that message. Oh my
You
goodness.
just did. You just did. I don't take money. I don't take anything but simple thank you. So you said thank you already. That's good enough.
I can't stop smiling. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome, guys. If anybody wants to see if I can, if anybody else that's with me tonight, if they want to come forward, I have my spirit box with me. I can turn that on, and if you have any ancestors or you feel like you are getting visitors or anything like that, this is your night. This is tonight. It's something a little different. Again, I know that most people don't think of this as being part of true crime and things like that, but I accept it as being an active a tool that can be used, and spirits do try to communicate with me. Okay, honeybee, I see you said I'm. I believe you're typing something there. Carrie, thank you very much. This is, of course, for officially part of YouTube's rules. They're stupid rules on this, but it's their rules. We do have to say this is entertainment purposes only, unfortunately. But believe me, when I get messages and things like that, it's very hard to say it's entertainment. Hello, Bossman Blake. How are you doing tonight? Honeybee, so am I. Like I said, I accept it as being a tool that can help with. Carrie's got it. Yeah, but we know. But we know. That explains it all. Bossman, how are you doing tonight? Well, honeybee, I'm going to put this out there. If you have any questions, okay, and this is just for anybody that is attending me and comes to my lives or anything like that, anybody is welcome to I do have an email set up for this my channel. Okay, if I do not respond, if you send me an email and I do not respond within, by the time I go to have a live again, please let me know that you sent me an email. Sometimes it goes to spam. But anybody is welcome to send me an email to that email address, rjrjchannel1@yahoo.com. Like I said, I believe there was possibly 3 people I was supposed to help tonight, and it wasn't related to true crimes tonight. It was just purely I had to get this out there. And if anybody wants, I'm more than willing and happy to turn my spirit box on tonight and see if what we can do with that. Phoenix, how are you tonight? Boss man, I appreciate you listening. I really do appreciate that. So Honeybee, you say you get confused of why you get so emotional about someone else's pain. That emotion are so impaired that I feel it was me going through it. So, Honeybee, do you ever can you walk past somebody and like if you're walking past somebody on the street, can you tell like that sometimes when something's aggravating them or something's bothering them, and it's not just like a body language reading type of deal. We're talking like you're literally just passing them on the street or in a store or anything, and you just get such a huge vibe coming off of them that something's just seriously wrong that day. Or something catastrophic is going on in that person's life at that moment. I would encourage you to start reading up on what it means to be an empath. If you can tell when somebody's emotions are by passing them or entering a room, there is a good chance you may be an empath and you don't know it. Phoenix, I'm not ignoring you. Hello, how are you tonight? Yep. Before I truly embraced it, Honeybee, this is the way I used to be. Before I would actually truly embrace that I had empathic abilities, I would actually fall in love with women, especially damsel in distress type of women that I really was not interested in whatsoever. But I became so emotionally attracted to that person that I felt compelled to get to know them and end up helping them. Mm-hmm. Honeybee, it sounds like you're an empath. That sounds very much like an empath. Yep. Carrie, is it Carrie, is it okay if I say this about you? Use you as an example for a moment. just as much as I'll use myself as an example for a moment. Okay. Carrie's a person very similar minded like I am. All right. Where she is also an empath. She can walk into a situation or a space and there's many times where she will be able to tell what's going on, emotions, just from the vibe of a space, from walking into it. She's gone as far as to come up to me sometimes and she'll say something is happening or something is going on. And well, actually, Carrie's in my Discord, and she'll jokingly tell me that the spirits like to tell on her. And quite often they'll tell me that she's up to something. And it's for me to tell her to stop. She needs to slow down. Hello, Where the Wind Blows. How are you tonight? Thank you for joining us. Yep. And Cherokee Girl, I am not ignoring your question that you asked a couple minutes ago. I am coming back to that in just a moment. I promise I will answer that question. So you said, yes, I say things to people I never seen or known. And for some reason, I end up saying things and then find out that if I never said anything, that I would have never known what they, yeah. I know I'm relating this to what I've said about Summer Wells and about Dylan Rounds and other cases of that crime cases related to crimes, but I'm giving you a context of what exactly I'm talking about that you can verify. Okay. And some of it, unfortunately, you're going to have to take from Carrie as being a witness that I've said this, because I used to be on a different channel that I think those videos have actually disappeared. Okay. But for months, I have been saying that that Summer Wells was there's going to be 4 persons in the end. There's going to be 4 persons charged with crimes related to her disappearance and demise. And Dylan Rounds, just last week when I said about their thank you, Where the Wind Blows. And Dylan Rounds, just within the past 2 weeks, I said when I started looking into them, I picked up on pumpkin seeds and a pumpkin patch, not knowing anything about his background. I didn't even look into it at that point, guys. When I literally was just writing things down, doodling, just drawing my mind blank and like free writing, free association writing. I picked up on pumpkin seeds. Yes. But for months, I had been saying with Summer Wells, there's going to be 4. He mentioned 3, and he said there's a person that he was not ready to name yet. So Cherokee Girl, since we're talking about Summer Wells here, says, I have a question. Why do I get a headache on my left side and stomach pain when I dream about summer? Where the Wind Blows, I've been able to do that for a very long time now. To answer your question, Cherokee Girl, if you're still with us, and if not, I apologize. Um, I'm going to answer it this way with this is what I think happened to Summer. I believe that she had gone through a sudden illness like heat sickness, but there were contributing factors. We've learned lately that there has been um, potential of her being given both melatonin and Benadryl. And in fact, I believe it was just yesterday. I'm not sure if it was Chris McDonough in the interview room or not, but it's somebody was recently saying that it was grandma was giving one and mom was giving the other one. I don't remember which they said it was, but I believe that to be correct. And I believe that Sunkist bottle has something to do with it. The drink in the Sunkist bottle, I do not ever believe. And I had drawn attention to that Sunkist bottle multiple times from the beginning. I don't believe that was soda in that bottle. I believe something was mixed in. If it was soda, there's an explanation of what it could be, because the carbonation and the citric acid that's naturally in there or that's put in there could explain one or two things. But I believe that this is the stomachache could very well be related to, I don't want to say poisoning, but I believe that the heat, the sudden illness was exasperated by her being asleep. Almost like in a comatose type of state, where she took something that knocked her out so hard, she wasn't going to wake up no matter what. So you could be picking up on something along those lines. That could be an explanation for that. Honeybee, there is a lot of evil around people and evil things in people. Absolutely. But you have to challenge your mind to look past that. And you can do it. It's important to look past that. I wasn't on. Oh no. What did you hear me last say? Where the wind blows? I had no signs of there being an issue with my internet, but I'll be more than happy to repeat what I said. Just let me know what you last heard. But Honeybee, you really got to push yourself to look past that, because that is something that is very easy to get lost on. Okay, so going back to Cherokee's question. Cherokee, what I was saying about Cherokee's question, and this is the question, is that she doesn't understand why she gets a headache on her left side and stomach pain when she dreams about summer. And that could very well be, like I said, it could be like, I don't want to say poisoning, because I don't believe she was poisoned, but it was a combination of what she drank that was in that soda, in that bottle, Sunkist bottle, that I don't believe was soda. I believe it was something else, and I don't know what. I just don't believe it was soda. If it was, there was somebody that you tried to explain to me, and it was above my head, that about something you can buy at a CBD shop, and you have to mix in with soda that is, I guess, has a orange or citric acid type of deal to go with it. Where it was, it's doing when it mixes correctly, and I believe that was I forget her name. Who was explaining that to me? It was just a couple weeks ago. Guys, forgive me. I just don't want to get her channel name wrong. I want to make sure if I'm giving credit to somebody or mentioning somebody, is Nita's World. She was explaining it to me. I believe, where there was something that needs the citric acid that would to dissolve it correctly. Okay, I believe that the combination of the melatonin, the Benadryl, and if something that was mixed in with that Sunkist drink had caused her to fall asleep and be close to a comatose state. That the heat that day, and I understand this is it sounds far-fetched, but when it breaks down to it, guys, it makes the most sense. It's either H is correct with he had to pull her out of the water. She was under the water for about 10-15 seconds, and something could have happened then, or it was the heat sickness from being in the truck with the windows up and it being an 83-degree temperature day that day. 83-degree temperature, June 15, 2021. I remember that is the high for that day. Okay. In 30 minutes time, the car would have reached in excess of 115 degrees. I believe it would reach like 117 or 118 degrees. Maybe I'm off by 10 degrees, but somewhere in a point that would have been dangerous to a child. I definitely know it was in excess of 100 degrees. I'm going to put it that way. And I'm going to look that up just to make sure I had given you the right temperature. I'm going to goodcalculators.com. Outside temperature, 85 degrees, 30 minutes. I'm just doing this real quick, guys, so you can actually see the table of the stats table real quick here. Right here. 30 minutes. 80 to 85 degrees, 114 to 119 degrees. And if you listen to, I believe it was Justice for All, in the past 2 weeks, said they were in the store a minimum of 30 minutes. I have always said it was about 35, 40 minutes. 30 minutes on the minimum, more like 35, 40 minutes. 40 minutes, 118, 123 degrees. That is enough of a heat, enough of a temperature for a child to be very seriously ill. Honestly, Cherokee Girl, the humidity last year, it wasn't a very humid June. It was actually very, for humidity wise, it was cool. Yep. Even though it was in the 80s, it was not humid in the beginning of June last year. It had gotten to 90 degrees a couple days before, but we had rain come through, and it cooled off quite a bit. And guys, when I say we, I mean the Tri-Cities area. I live in the Tri-Cities area. I have no problem with anybody knowing that I live in the Tri-Cities area, but I live in the area. Okay. So well, Cherokee Girl, the way I like to explain this one in this case is because of it comes down to age more than it would be the humidity in this case. Because a child's sweat glands are not developed like an adult would be or a teenager would be, that when the body starts to overheat, they naturally kick in to cool the body. You really never see, unless the child is being like very active, running around a lot, you don't see a child getting all sweaty like a teenager would because it's just a hot day, or an adult just because it's a hot day. Yeah. Let's see here. Catching up with chat here, guys. Bear with me a moment. Carrie, that's a very good point. It's that tracksuit that looked like it was not a material that what is that most tracksuits are made of. It's more like it's not really a very breathable material. Oh, now I'm showing that the internet's having playing some games with me. Yep. I don't believe it was just the incidents of her mom, or just the incidents of her being in that car, or I believe there's multiple factors of what happened to Summer that day. The short of it is there's a sudden illness with other contributing factors that did not help her fight out of the situation she fell into. Okay. Understand though, guys, a lot of people don't like the way I say this, that it was a happy accident. A happy accident. The reason I say a happy accident is what happened to her was an accident. Her becoming ill to the point where she met her demise, that was an accident. Nobody intended her to have a sudden illness issue. The happy part of it, guys, is they planned on much worse for her. They planned on much worse for her. And her demise saved her from having to experience additional SA and being trafficked. Hello, The Real Brenda. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. I know that's a harsh way to understand that. It really is. And I apologize. But it's the most polite way I could possibly explain that what happened. Okay. Not only was it that Summer demise saved her from experiencing much worse than what she did, it's changed the life path of her brothers as well. But what do you mean? RJ, what do you mean? As much as Summer was being groomed, her brothers were being groomed as well. Her brothers were being groomed to understand that this is the way that you treat a young woman, a woman. And all of that is being corrected. It's taking a lot of counseling, a lot of patience by their foster parents, and I believe very soon to be adoptive parents. But a lot of it is as much as a tragedy as Summer's demise is. It's changed the life path of her brothers as well. I don't believe any of the brothers are currently in the same home, Double Rainbows. And Honeybee, I did see your question. I'll get back to them in just a moment. I have not. I'm not ignoring them. I have them marked so that I will come back to them in just a moment. Okay. To grab them in just a moment. Honeybee, Double Rainbows. So I believe that the boys are separated. It's because they had to have individual plans. Not only from the help of psychiatrists, psychologists, but sociologists, whoever, how many doctors there may have been involved. They needed to be able to have an individual personalized plan, and having them in the same home with each other was not going to work. Now, again, I don't know any of this concretely. There has been absolutely no news on in the news. This is my opinion only on this. Okay, that they had to be separated because if they did not, and honestly, I believe that I believe the plan is that one day the brothers can be united. Yes, they had to. I hate to say it this way, guys, and I know I'm saying I hate to say it this way, but this is the best way I can understand it. They had to break the boys in order to rebuild them. You had to break the boys so they can rebuild them. It's. Thank you, Carrie, for throwing that up. This gets a bit of a trigger warning, also, guys, just so you understand. This is just raw, my opinion. This isn't anything anybody can prove at the moment. This is purely my opinion. I believe that they do hope that they can reunite the boys in one household, but it's not the time yet. They're not at that point. They need more counseling. They need more one-on-one time in a family with a group or somebody that's a very strong and great dad, male figure that's helping to, for lack of a better phrase, reprogram how they see women. This is an old time family, and I know they're not originally from Hawkins County. Let's remember that, but this still applies. That there is a very outdated point of view of the role of the woman in the household that's very male chauvinistic. You almost have to go back 2 and 3 generations. Like back to when some of us our great grandparents or our grandparents were alive, where it was the female's role was, excuse the way I phrase this, I promise you I do not think this way. I'm going to warn you, I do not think this way. But at one point in time, the female's role was considered to be, her place in the home was barefoot and pregnant. Her responsibility was, she took care of the home. She raised the children. The male, he went out of the house and worked. When he came home, it was purely time for him to have downtime. Supper time, and then read the evening newspaper and catch up on TV and or the news and whatnot, and it was off to bed to be ready for the next day. It's almost the easiest way to explain how this family treated and had the expectation of for women. It's worse than that, to be honest. But that's the easiest way to explain it. So, okay, double rainbows. My thoughts on rumors that Candace is pregos again. No. Just no, no, hell no. The last information I heard on that is that Candace said that when she had Summer well, she had her tubes tied. We all know that is not 100%. Just like a guy getting a vasectomy is not 100% that it can't happen. But if the doctor did a good job that he was supposed to do, it's not only no, but hell no, it's not. It cannot happen. Cherokee, thank you very much. I would actually even go as far to say the treatment of the women in this family, and those who've been around my channel long enough will be able to tell you that they celebrate androgyny in their women. In women, celebrate androgyny. If you look at pictures of Summer Wells and Rose Bly, I can almost guarantee you, if we could find pictures of going back further in history, going back in generations, and you found more women that look like the two of them, something happened to those women. They've gotten away with it. Anytime there is a woman that remarks similar to what the norms of what beauty is, according to American culture, something happens to that woman. Whether it be that they're put down, they're made to thought less of themselves, or in the case of Rose Bly and now Summer, they disappear. Something happens to them. Androgyny is the idea, or the androgyny means that it's a person that has no characteristics of either male or female, no outwardly characteristics, meaning a female would look very tomboyish, or what we consider to be a tomboy or boyish. Look at Candace Wells and Candace Bly, the grandma, and you'll understand what I mean by androgyny. They celebrate androgyny in that family. He didn't so much get away with those accounts. He just got recently released so he can return to living in public. He should have never been returned. The state was against him to getting released. Okay, so earlier Honeybee asked me a question, or asked a question in the chat, and I'm going to get back to that. I have dreams, I guess you can say, but they're more realistic. Like I'm up, but I'm asleep, and I literally wake up finding out I've took action in my sleep, like texting someone. A lot to explain. But I'm texting and calling people in my sleep, wake up and see. I've done things sleep in my sleep, and it's a lot of yeah, honeybee. Start learning to put cell phones, electronics in another room when you go to bed. I have to do the same thing. I have to put them out of reach. I'll actually will start looking things up in the middle of the night, and it'll be laying there, and something will be looked up, and or I'll start or I'll be like trying to Google something, and it will just absolutely make no sense whatsoever. Literally, just remove those devices completely away from you, so you're not tempted. Like literally, if you have a spouse, have them put them in another room, so you're not even like subconscious of where they're being put. Okay. I have, I will actually be a lot of times like what happened to me last night where I came on tonight and I said I have message for two, possibly three people tonight that they need to hear tonight. Okay. I have actually, last night, when these things came to me, like my dream happened, I wasn't fully asleep. I was like I wasn't awake, but I wasn't fully asleep type of mode. I was kind of in that. I was semi-conscious, able to be aware what was going on around me, but my eyes were not open type of state. Okay, that type of thing happens. Yeah, honeybee, start like literally if you have a spouse or have a significant other at nights, either give them the phone to put down in the other room and them not tell you where it is, or get used to using the do not disturb. And when you go to bed, make sure like you're not on Wi-Fi, make sure your data is off, type of deal. Because that will actually help you prevent from doing that. But I've done that myself. Um, on YouTube, there is actually a lot of 8 hour, 10 hour, 6 hour videos that are designed to help you achieve REM sleep, REM sleep, and sleep better. You might want to try listening to one of those one night. Let's see here. So, Double Rainbows. Your thoughts on Summer Wells' aunt, her case getting solved? Um, I don't know if I'm spinning or not, guys. I'm just giving myself a moment here. Looks like my internet came back on its own there for a moment. I apologize, guys, for the silence there for a moment. So yeah, we're the wind blows. Please don't do that. You don't want to do that because then it's just not a good situation. My thoughts on Summer Wells' aunt, her case getting solved. I believe it will be solved before Summer Wells is solved. I believe that the police, of how quiet they're being, and the last statements that have come from them, I think they're closer than there are to Summer Wells being resolved. Hey guys, I'm trying to keep up here. Don't worry. I know I'm jumping around, but we're good. I promise. Right. So, guys, the reason I'm suggesting it's not a hidden fact. It's not any sort of secret. With the cell phones and things like and electronics, we actually are doing it to ourselves a lot of times, where we're inundating ourselves with fake light that we're causing ourselves not to be able to sleep well. And this is not any sort of medical advice to anybody or anything like that. What I was suggesting to Honeybee about having somebody else putting the cell phone in the other room or in a different room, it applies to everybody. Everybody should do that. I'm just as guilty as that as anybody else. I have to go to bed at night and I have my tablet with me. And when I go to bed, it has one of those 6-hour or 8-hour tracks that I was mentioning on YouTube that are supposed to help you sleep. Yeah, it's possible to have had sleep issues for as long as that. I don't know how old you are. I'm not asking, but it's possible to have sleep issues from when you were a child going into and being an adult. I'm just saying that one way to help eliminate any sort of issues is by leaving a cell phone or a wireless device or anything like that in another room, an electronic. Leave it in another room. Let's see here. Just going back and chat here for a second, guys. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so I am caught up with the chat. Oh dear goodness. Cherokee. I don't know if that's supposed to be an insult or a compliment to Scott H. I've never experienced that, but I know people that have done so, Honeybee. And the cause has actually been paranormal. Honeybee, I can absolutely tell you it's not a scientific thing. Don't need science to explain it. If you're experiencing things like being able to tell somebody else's emotion, or something is going on with somebody that you don't even have to have them verbalize it to you, you are definitely using more of your brain than we are taught you can be able to do so. Okay, it's just that it just people that have that sixth sense, naturally it's unlocked for them. Basically, so, honey, you're exactly right. What is normal? I was diagnosed, just to use myself as an example, I was diagnosed as being bipolar. Okay. I have issues with depression and anxiety. But do you know that part of their diagnosis of why that I experience I'm bipolar, that they tried to add the schizophrenia tag onto me because of what I experience with ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call it. And then you make a recording of what you hear, and you have I lived in an apartment that was haunted, had a paranormal investigation team come in, and I actually took that evidence that I was not the only person experiencing that what was going on, and had a therapist apologize to me that they were suggesting that I might be schizophrenic. That it's clear that since other people are experiencing what I did, it's just bipolar issue. Yeah, I jokingly call that being bipolar light, by the way, or at least my version of it is, because the being on medication doesn't do me any good. It's just sometimes I get really crappy days where I get really crappy moments. This is guys, this is beyond the normal of just having a bad moment. This is I want to break down and go find a corner and crawl up in a corner and cry for 5 minutes type of deal. Bad moment. This is and then not 5 minutes later, it's like I'm happy go lucky and perfectly normal, and that kind of roller coaster. Yeah. Honeybee, I know that feeling I know that all too well. I've been there. See, Honeybee, you're not the only one here tonight that does that. A lot of times, honeybee, I'm going to give you it's no matter what religion you believe in, every single religion has the same basic idea. Speak into fruition. Speak into existence. When you get into that type of moment, stop yourself. Even if it physically means stop where you are and remind yourself that only positive things and positive energy can surround you. Do it. Because a lot of times when you do something like that, you're pushing the negative. Remember, I said you got to look past the negative, look past the shadows. It's exactly what I'm saying right now. You got to speak the positive back into that space. And in that moment, instead of letting it defeat you and bring you down. Well, I'm saying religion because no matter, all religions have the same basic, and it doesn't matter what you believe. It has that's one principle that one of many principles that religion uh, um, um, has in common. Beyond just explaining what the purpose of life was, which is what religion boils down to, man trying to understand what purpose of life is. That's just another concept that people that widespread across many religions has. That you can speak positive energy into a space or into a moment. No, and where the wind blows, I'm not saying there is anything wrong with any religion. I like studying religions, to be honest, to completely be honest with you all. I like studying multiple religions. I like to read mythology from Greeks, the Egyptians, the Nordic, and I don't know these are all polytheism that I'm mentioning. But in just the basic, most boiled down sense of it, it's man trying to understand purpose. Mankind. I don't mean man, just man alone. I mean mankind. Trying to understand purpose. And at one point, our mind has said everything had to be segmented, it had to be independent. And Christianity came along and said it kind of is, but it's not as extensively divided as you think. What do you mean? Where the wind blows? So, honey, thank you very much. Honeybee, I appreciate that. That's a compliment to me. You're honey. Where the wind blows, you were saying, "OMG, you're kidding me." I was asking you what where you were meaning by that. Honeybee, be careful driving. About AA taking God out of the works that works for people so many years. You meaning AA as in Alcoholics Anonymous? Because honestly, that's what I think of when I see the letters AA next to each other. From my understanding, is they're just trying to be more inclusive, though. They're not trying to say that for some people that God, uh, in Christianity sense, is um, the higher power. They're just saying a higher power, and be more inclusive to anybody who just doesn't have the faith. Um, if you ever seen the movie, is it Angels and Demons? Tom Hanks' character, to the person that was playing the supposed Pope, says, "Faith is a gift I have yet to receive." Okay, it's the same basic idea where they're saying the at least the last time I paid attention to anything AA said or taught, they're saying they're just being inclusive to anybody having a higher power. They're not specifying Christianity God. I'll agree with you that some of the most successful they have had are because persons have found religion with their sobriety. Where the wind blows, they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance in schools, and they don't encourage the national anthem anymore in schools. Forgive me for a second here. 1 second. So I'm going to go ahead and post a link into the chat room here. This is an article from April 2nd this year. It's thehill.com. And it is listing of 47 states, state laws, individual state laws that are actually requiring students to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Kudos to them. "47 states the laws that are regarding this the stating of the Pledge of Allegiance." Just to give you an example, guys. Oh yeah. So absolutely. We were all drawn to Summer Wells for many different reasons. Personally, for me, it was location. For many others, it's because of it was because of her age. She's a child, a defenseless child, 5 years old. Now would be 6. You know, I remember for me, for how I became introduced to Summer Wells was I'm just sitting in my apartment and I had Broadcastify on my tablet. And something told me I needed to pay attention to Hawkins County, who the broadcasting goes through for my area. And I heard the 911 dispatch call go out. Okay. All right. That's actually a good idea. Double rainbows. That's actually a very good idea. I didn't think of that. No, that was a different. That was a different one than being an empath, where I'm being shown in my Discord. But thank you for sending that one to me. Just want to make sure I get the right one. All right, so there, depending on who you talk to, they can. Some people say there's actually 20 signs. You have to. Some say there's 15. Some. I just keep it simple. That's just me. I just keep it simple. These are 12 signs that you may be an empath, meaning this is like a basic introduction type of deal. If you're experiencing these things, it may not be necessarily that something's wrong with you, as some others may think. And I'm looking for a particular website, and I'll know the website as soon as I find it. This is the one I want. So this is not necessary. They may have made changes to this, but this is, I would say, the best list, the easiest list to understand, or follow. Powerpositivity.com. It's 12 signs that you are an empath. My favorite in there is basically you really got to give yourself permission to be impulsive. Number 7, routines are suffocating for empathic people. Give your permission to be impulsive. Okay, so we're talking about Summer Wells here again. Honeybee and Cherokee, I will get to both your questions or remarks here. Just make sure I grab them, mark them so I don't forget them. Summer case just popped up. I never went on YouTube until Summer's Wells and stuck in my room for weeks just learning about Summer. Yeah, Honeybee, that's kind of what happened to me because of where I live. Everything that was happening to her, because it was in the news now, it was always around, and just I was being told information not by people that not by my neighbors or anything like that, but by just naturally being able to hear spirits. I was being told information that you can't go and say online because you don't have receipts. That a lot of it has come out to be true since then. Like, I was being told about Don Wells' issue with substances the day after Summer went missing. And I don't mean just like, oh, he was addicted to weed. I knew he was looking for a kilo of coke. On June 14th, or it never got a clear answer, but on June 14th or the 15th, he was looking for a kilo of coke. Okay, I've questioned Summer's age. Some of the pics Candace had on TikTok would lead one to believe that Summer's older because the change in bone structure and child's face. Summer in the picture. Okay, Cherokee, there is actually another girl that looks very similar to Summer, that was a little bit older and related to Summer, that had been around. But all the pictures that Candace had shown was of Summer. Some of them, yes, she does look older. I can't tell you a reason why that happened, other than I believe that Summer may have been going through a growth spurt. If you think about a child of about that age, they tend to get chubby, or at the break where they're starting to finally lose all of their baby fat. And it happens in a growth spurt. All of a sudden they start to get a little chunky. They start to retain a little bit of weight, and it's not that they're eating more, or they're trying to they're just naturally, their body is preparing for them to grow. And I believe that is what happened with Summer, is that some of the photos are when she was like 3-4 years old. And then she starts to get chunky a little bit. Again, it's a child. I'm not judging a child. I'm not trying to poke at a child or anything. I believe it's natural growth spurts that her body was preparing to go through. And then she was at the point where she was going through that growth spurt, and she was losing that babyish fat. Well, we know where Don was. We don't know where Candace was. And we have no idea if they had celebrated her birthday in any manner or form. Honeybee, thank you very much. When it comes to missing kids cases or missing persons cases, even though I have a gut instinct about what happened, okay, let me explain this, guys. Anytime I make a statement on my channel, all right, I allow myself to be more liberal with what I say about missing persons cases on my channel. When I go on somebody else's channel, whether it be John Q, Bossman Blake, Nita's World, Miss Q, Carlock, anybody else's channel, I stick to the facts. The provable facts, not 100% my opinion, but the provable facts. Okay. When I'm on my channel, I allow myself to speak a little more freely and let my intuition speak a little for me more. But the things I come on and say, I want you to understand though that even though I might say something that is not known, not understood sometimes for up to 2 months, I make sure that facts support what I'm saying. I've told people in my Discord, and I'm not going to go into the details of this. Double Rainbows and Carrie, if she's still with me right now, I've told them in my Discord that there's a couple of stories that something tried to convince me that happened to Summer Wells, but it just make absolutely no sense, and because of that, I won't speak about them on YouTube. Because it just doesn't fit. Things like saying for about 6 months now that 4 people are going to be arrested and charged with crimes related to Summer Wells' disappearance and demise. And there's something to do with that Sunkist bottle. I've named names of who I believe is going to be those 4 people. The only one that Chris McDonough didn't say last night that is one that I have said. And no, this is not I'm blowing my own horn, toot my own horn, however you wish to phrase it. I'm simply saying that the mouthpieces from Ben Hill Road have everything to do with Summer Wells' disappearance. The people that are speaking the most from Ben Hill Road, or have been speaking the most, this is my opinion, purely my opinion. I related to a Double Rainbows is about to laugh. I related to a poem that Lord Tennyson wrote. March of the Light Brigade. Each one of these people that are speaking and speaking a lot about Summer Wells from Ben Hill Road are that commander that knew that knew he was sending his people, his soldiers, into a battle that they were not going to win, that he knew he messed up. The soldiers even knew that they messed up. No, it's not Tim Mullen. He's just a creepy man. What I'm saying is that the plan that was on Summer's path, that her demise prevented her from going down, was simply that there was a worse plan on her head. And these 4 individuals are the soldiers. Even though they're doing all the talking, they all had a role to play. They know they messed up, folks. They know they messed up. That's why they're doing all the squawking they are. They're taking turns doing all this squawking because, and they're leading people into misinformation, and to the point where they can literally sit there and be telling you the truth at this point about what happened this summer, and nobody's still going to believe them. Watch. Don Wells gets out of technically gets out of jail August 7th. I personally do not believe he's going to actually get out of jail. I think he's on his way to Utah. Not like physically right now. I mean, after August 7th, he'll be on his way to Utah. Okay? But if just the hypothetical, if he is actually to get out of jail, or if for some reason there's a delay in Utah pressing charges, which I believe is only less than a 1% chance at this point, that there would be so much attempted damage control that he would be doing for the past 5.5 months at this point, going on 6 months if you would, from the time he gets released, that it would be just absolutely insanity to sit there and listen to any word he says. Cherokee Girl in Chris McDonough's live last night, okay, he called out Hawkins County, TBI, FBI, state sheriff, state police, whoever wants to be, Rogersville police, whoever it wants to be. He basically called them out last night and said it's time. You have all the evidence you need. It's time to come forward and say that there is 4 persons of interest and name names. Okay. Other channels are skipping right over that today. And they're going right into a drama issue of something else that happened that's really insignificant. Whether it is, I got blocked from Chris McDonough, or I got blocked, this happened, that stop. They got to stop, and they got to realize that he actually said, no matter what, somebody that has had all my respect since she was the spokesperson for Evelyn Boswell when she was missing, and her mom getting arrested. Okay. She, of course, is going to deny. She is not a investigator. She is public relations officer equivalent. Of course, she's going to deny that any sort of exchange of information with some organization has been happening. Just as much as, what was it, a month and a half, 2 months ago, the woman appeared on Ziggy. No, I'm talking direct, guys. I'm talking direct where the wind blows. Okay, just as much as the woman that appeared on Ziggy that said, "I am a friend of Ronnie Lawson, family friend," and they're wondering what happened to the 4 hours in the afternoon between 2:30 and almost 6:30. Why did it take almost 4 hours for them to call 911 to report Summer missing? There's truth to that. In a backhanded way, there is truth to that. You know what it's saying? Either Summer was seen on a camera somewhere at 2:30 in the afternoon, or that's approximately the time that Hunter was dropped off. And everything after that grandma and mom is saying they do not believe happened. Four hours time frame that they don't believe. 4 hour time frame that they do not believe what the parental persons, guardians, are telling them. Okay? I'm being very direct, guys. I promise you. I'm not trying to hint at anything. I'm not trying to be suggestive or anything. I'm just saying, look, there is reasons for this. No, she did not wander off. I worded it a little bit differently, Double Rainbows. And I know you've heard me say this before. Hunter was proof of life that day. Hunter was proof of life that Summer was alive on June 15th. Thank you, Carrie, for throwing that up there. This content is and discussion is all opinionated and allegedly. Guys, look, a lot of information I say is based on the facts of what happened. I do say that my opinion is exactly, it is my opinion. And Carrie's right. This is alleged of what happened that day. Yes, Double Rainbows, I believe he actually said 80%, but you're right. He did say Hunter was the most honest, which is something I've been saying. I never said he told the full truth. I've been saying all along he was the most honest, told the most truth. Exactly. Cherokee Girl, you got it. You got it. There's something going on. And basically, what you have to go by is the proverbial. It's like this. If you were to stand at an intersection and there was 3 other witnesses, everybody was staying on a different corner. Okay? There's the truth that you saw. There's the truth the other person saw. and then there is the truth. So you have three different people saying on three different corners. You're all going to have a different perspective or point of view. It's the what they're not saying, and oh, Cherokee Girl, have a wonderful night. I was going to simply say to you, Cherokee Girl, if you ask your husband this, I'm confident he'll shake his head and go, "Yep, he's right." It is not of what they are telling in this situation. It is what they are not saying is the truth. The old expression, sometimes you miss the forest between the weeds. You have a field of tall grass standing in front of me. You're so focused on that tall grass that you're missing 100 yards behind it is a forest. That is what each and every single person that has been speaking from Ben Hill Road has been doing from day one. There is no other way around it. There is no other way around it. Yes, honeybee, exactly. Yes. So the neighbor that is right at Ben Hill Road and Beach Creek Road, opposite of the wells, had a camera. There you go. Thank you, Carrie. You were getting to you were saying the same exact thing that I was going to say. There was no memory card in the cameras. They didn't work or were not turned on or not charged, whatever the case may be. They were not working that day. Ironically, none of them worked that day. Nah, that 5 minutes, 10 minutes is what she reported to the police. That's a cover story. That's a cover story that she went looking for Summer. Where the wind blows, I don't know what happened. All I can say is the cameras did not work. I honestly don't know what happened to them. I just know they didn't work. Right. Double rainbows, you have to sometimes. Whether you're the defense or you're the prosecutor, you have the police in this case. You have to you have to keep certain information quiet. Otherwise, it taints the ability to present the case as it needs to be presented. This is where I was saying about Leslie earlier. Double Rainbows is saying that I think, or what she actually means is what I was saying. That Chris CM knows more, but can't divulge it. Can't speak of it. This is what I was saying, that TBI is not going to say that they're sharing information with his organization. That information has gotten to his desk. They're not going to tell you that, guys. They're not going to tell you because they're going to protect the integrity of their investigation. But I honestly believe that Chris McDonough has a good grasp on what's going on with Summer Wells. And he's hinting at what the police are about to do. And yeah, he's going to get a lot of credit because it looks like he called them out. But it's time. It's time to start coming out with "we know" and putting that pressure on the parents, on mom, on grandmom. How do you say that? How do you think so? Where the wind blows? Because TBI or Hawkins County, I don't remember which it is, has H's phone from June 15th last year. So here's a suggestion. One of the things I have said is that they exchanged vehicles at some point on June 15th. They exchanged vehicles on June 15th. Take a look. Go back just a month ago, less than a month ago. And just as if it was brand new news, but it was said at the beginning of the investigation as well. The workers at the horse farm, that excuse me, let me rephrase that, because my people will know horse farm for another reason. The horse stables right by where she went swimming said that their truck was at the swimming hole for most of the day. But they weren't at the swimming hole all day. No, where the wind blows, they weren't at the swimming hole the whole day. So Summer was swimming somewhere around 12:30 in the afternoon. Where were they about 1:30 in the afternoon? An hour later? They were picking up a prescription at Walgreens. But you have the persons that were working at the horse stable, the stables right there, 100 yards away, that says their truck was there almost all day. So what vehicle did they take? Why is there another vehicle involved? As being a person that lives in the Tri-Cities area, I can tell you that most vape shops don't open till after 10 a.m. There's a few that will open up at 8 a.m. like a normal, or 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning like normal business, or even earlier once or twice a week for persons that have either work third shift or early in the morning, for them to come in and to conduct business and go on their way. There are shops that are like that in this area. So I'm not saying that every single shop is going to be cookie cutter, fit the same criteria. Okay. Catch 22, for example, they are a shop that doesn't just sell a head shop type of deal. Some of their business comes from selling incense items. There you go. Where the wind blows, you got it. What other vehicle? What was the other vehicle that they had that day? Is it possible they followed grandma to the hospital? When they realized it was going to be as long as it was for her to be at the hospital, and Summer Wells getting antsy in a parking lot that's big enough for about 16, 20 cars, and nowhere safe for a child to go running around and get energy out, go pick up Hunter, who was a person that she admired and looked up to, but she didn't look up to her own mom, to entertain her. And to help entertain her, they were going to go fishing. realized they don't have fishing gear in the truck that she was driving, whereas another vehicle they could have. So they made the change of plans of that day to being Summer's going to go swimming. And take her to a place that was good enough to be a fishing hole, but it should have never been somebody swimming. If you haven't heard the story, I'll tell this real quick. If you haven't heard me say this on another channel or any other channel, I'll say it again here. There is an area of that beach or that swimming hole, the ground around that swimming hole, that you cannot walk on. You cannot walk on some of that ground that is in that fishing area. I do not hide that I'm a large-sized guy. I'm a 300-pound guy, and I'm 5'8". It's not even that. Where the wind blows, it's not even that. It's quick mud. I literally walked on the beach area. Okay, I'm about to show you the map of that area. Bear with me just a moment here. Wasn't planning on getting into this all tonight, so guys, bear with me. This is just, I think it's important to go over and take a look at. So bear with me just a moment. Here's the horse stable. This is Warriors State Park, Warriors Path State Park. This is the area that Summer was swimming in. Okay, right in here. I would actually say it's right here. I think I was pointing over this before I followed it a little bit too far. It's probably right here. This is the area that Summer was swimming in. This area right here. If you guys can see my mouse, so can somebody let me know in Discord to make sure you guys are seeing this? Because I am not looking at the chat right now. I appreciate just a simple yes or no real quick. This area right here that my mouse is over, you cannot walk through there. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. You cannot walk through there. I tried. I landed up knee deep, almost knee deep, sinking into the ground. Okay. Landed up almost knee deep, sinking into the mud. My shoe and up to at least my calf muscle. The pants I was wearing that day were muddy. Right about where this van is where they parked. This is the path that everybody talks about right here. This path right here. It comes down. Okay, you would think it's this right here, this wide area. It's not. You get down to about here, and there's a path that cuts over that you can't see here. It's just a small beaten trail that everybody's trampled on and beaten down by walking on it. It's very small, right in through here. It comes down right here. And this is where she was swimming, in this area. This right here is where Chris McDonough and Candace was standing when they did their interview. It was in this general area. But this is where Summer was swimming. This whole area should be nothing but a fishing hole. There should be signs up there saying no swimming, dangerous area. Okay, you see how this path right here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. You see this path up here? It curves around. If you haven't seen it, let me know. I will gladly go and grab this video that I took and play it for you guys. This is where I was standing when I took the video of the trees that are on a 45-degree angle. This is it right here. Thankfully, where I was walking was about along this area here. There was a tree coming down this way. Okay. I was able to step out of it by going up this way, back up towards the parking lot some, and then over to the tree. And it was firm enough that it would support my weight. Somebody's asked me to grab that video. Bear with me just a moment here. Oh, somebody found my throwaway channel and subscribed to it. That's so sweet. Okay, guys, there is going to be no sound on this. There is not really any sound that's like majorly important with this. If you were to find my throwaway channel, or if you find another channel that is RJ, there's a chance that one of them is my throwaway channel. And this is where this video is from, just so anybody knows. It actually, ironically, has the same picture as you see currently for me as an icon. But this is the video that I'm talking about. Follow the trail down. Okay. This is where I was talking about that area that it hooks back around on that map. This is the area. These are what I'm talking about. These trees. Look at this. They're on a 45-degree angle growing. This is 3 trees. I believe there's 2 or 3 trees that are growing up and into other trees that are older on a 45-degree angle. And I explained it in this video. You can see, if you look at it, I said it's camping. And there's more trees back here. They're also on a 45-degree angle. Look at this. I refer to as this video as being camping, and that somebody could very easily use this to be a natural lean-to. Throw a tarp over these trees, tie it down on the ends, and you have a natural lean-to. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. This is higher up in the tree. Okay, that's just past where, and up the hill a little bit from where they were swimming. If it cannot support a tree growing, and it has to fall, it falls over and has to grow, and is growing at a 45-degree angle, how safe is that whole entire ground in that area? So, Honeybee, it's a throwaway channel, meaning it's a backup channel that I use for videos like this, little clip videos that I want to be able to quickly be able to refer to. It's not really anything for anybody to worry about. It's just it exists just to, as a backup more than anything else. Yeah. So this was actually shot June 15th this year. I did this on my tablet. And a pretty good quality of video. I do say so. That's at 480. That's not even like the best quality of it. But you can clearly see, like I said, these are growing on a 45-degree. And this area, folks, is not a hill. This area up here is flat ground. I'm actually standing below grade of where this ground is flat at right now. Behind me would be where Summer would have been swimming. The only reason in this video I don't pan around and show that area is because there was a little boy and his family fishing, and I didn't want to shoot them. I didn't want to photograph them. But Carrie was there with me. Nobody had been photographing this area. And the only reason the reason I had done so was I was always curious, what was just beyond where Summer was swimming? Was there possibly something that could have been distracting H or Candace, or could there be something else going on? And this is where I found, this is after, of course, where I had the issue with the quick mud over in the other area that I was showing you on the map. But this is the area that I was showing you where that path hooks around, it almost forms a J. This is right at the edge of it. This is what I mean by there should have been nobody swimming in that area. Nobody should be in that area. This area should be fenced off and blocked. It's not safe ground. If it cannot support a tree, or myself as a 300-pound guy, I don't hide that I'm not a tiny guy, guys. I know I'm not a tiny guy. But the fact that I sunk into quick mud like that just shows you that it's not safe. Yeah, it was a good day. I agree. We did have fun. We still have something we got to do that was my fault, by the way, Carrie. We got to get together on that one. I apologize for the little bit of unsteadiness because, like I said, I'm not on any sort of like gimbal or anything. It's just me holding my tablet and recording. But that's what I mean, guys, by the area not being safe and should have never, ever had anybody go swimming in that area. So where we started out tonight was vastly different from where we are right now. I did say that, it was an open mic, open question kind of night. And we've had a great conversation. I thank you very much, everybody, for tonight. So with the condition of where the roots were and everything and the mud and everything there, I don't believe the story of grandma going to be in that area. I don't believe she was down at the swimming hole. I don't believe she was at the park, because if you listen to the last interview, what grandma had said, what she did with the WJHL, she actually says, I believe, or I think they were at Warriors Path State Park. If she was there, she definitely did not walk down there. Somebody having problems with a knee to the point where they had to go to the hospital, with the roots they were, the muddy conditions that it was, they didn't walk down there. There's drop-offs that happen all throughout that area that are about 1.5 feet, 2 feet at the most. A person with bum knees that are hurting, and how much they were filled with roots of the trees and bushes, they would not want to be dealing with that. They wouldn't want to walk through that. They wouldn't want to deal with that, because that would be just the proverbial statement of adding salt to an open wound. Carrie, that's exactly right. There's no way with an immobilizer on her leg that she would be able to do it. Oh, honeybee, you're asking questions. You're thinking. You're thinking about questions that they cannot answer. Honeybee, you're thinking about questions they cannot answer. Why was Summer wearing a sweater with no bathing suit in sight in the car? In this case, the truck. But they make a point to say that when they got to H's house, they went inside and they changed her into her bathing suit at that point. There's still a lot of information that makes no sense. Exactly, guys. Where the wind blows, exactly. When you sit there and think critically about what they said, it doesn't add up. They had a plan. They did not want Summer going to school, going to kindergarten. They did not want Summer to learn from other students, other girls in school, that she was not treated in the same manner as other girls her age. School starts August 1st. In Tri-Cities area. We're currently we're look, it's July 11th. It's almost 13 months that Summer went missing. When she went missing, it was approximately 6 weeks to when she was going to be starting kindergarten. She would have started kindergarten on August 2nd last year. Why did they not want her starting kindergarten? Better yet, just as Chris McDonough says, I have said, you cannot leave 110 Ben Hill Road. It starts and ends with Ben Hill Road. Chris McDonough made a great point last night. He wants to so badly leave from Ben Hill Road and make this be about something that didn't happen at her home. But you can't. You can't leave Ben Hill Road in this case. Guys, I am going to call it a night in just a moment. I want to thank you all. I know we started out in a very unexpected manner for some. That's why I said it's something a little different tonight. What I had, as you saw from the beginning of the show tonight, I had a message for two people that they were not expecting. Sometimes that's going to happen with my channel. And yet we landed up on talking about Summer Wells throughout the night. If you didn't catch the very beginning where what I'm talking about, I would encourage you to go back and take a look at that. Like I said, some people don't like it. Some people do like it. I embrace the spirit, my spirituality side of me. And sometimes I get, because of what I embrace, I get unusual messages or unusual things happening. And I will come on and talk about it. Like I said, I had my spirit box just in case we needed it tonight, but it was clear who I was speaking to at the beginning when I started tonight, and we landed up talking about Summer Wells, and we've had an absolutely great conversation, guys. I want to thank you very much for those who do come forward and say, "Hey, that's me." Double Rainbows, you knew before I even started. One of them was for you. And when you saw that link and you heard what I was starting to say and lead to, you jumped up here and he goes, "I know it's me." But it was a very powerful beginning. And guys, when it comes to Summer Wells, I want to encourage you to keep questioning details. Keep questioning those details, because when you do so, you will notice that it shoots holes the size of cannonballs in each person's story. Absolute, honeybee. Absolutely. And that's the way I like to do it. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you listening tonight. I've talked longer than I anticipated. I thank you once again. It is going on midnight. It's almost 11:45 where I am. Do you know where your kids are tonight? No matter how old they are, how young they are, do you know where they are tonight? My name is RJ, And hope everybody has a wonderful night. Good night. I'm out.